All right, welcome back. Exam number 19, practice exam number 19. We're going to go through five more questions, five questions to help you pass your Network Plus exam. Let's see if we can't get through this in a record-breaking time. A network administrator receives an alert indicating that a firewall's license feature for content filtering has expired. As a result, which of the following is most likely impacted on the network? Which one is most likely impacted on the network? You'll see this often in smaller companies where, and I shouldn't even say smaller companies because there's some larger companies that have the same issue. Uh, they forget to pay it, or they don't think about it, or it's on a subscription, but the subscription is only to a set time. Sometimes the credit card number or the purchasing order goes out depending on the size of the company. It really depends. It really depends. But you'd be surprised how often this could happen, even for smaller companies. Even for smaller companies. So much that some of the companies have actually found the leads for these companies, like the director or the manager they usually deal with, and call them up ahead of time, like 30 days in advance, and go, oh, by the way, just FYI, your firewall or your license for this software is getting ready to expire in 30 days. Make sure you have a PO on file. They'll send out email reminders and everything else like that. All right, let's answer this one. A network administrator receives an alert indicating that the firewall's licensed features for content filtering has expired. As a result, which of the following is most likely impacted on the network? Let's start with D. Firmware updates on the firewall. Probably not. Probably not. That's not a feature for this, right? Usually when there's a firmware update, you can actually, I don't even think they block half of those. Most companies don't even block those. Especially with paid subscriptions, you could still update the firewall. That's usually not affected at all. Let's go to C. IP address assignment for DHCP clients. I'm not sure why DHCP would be part of a firewall, especially in an enterprise environment. Especially in an enterprise environment. That leaves A or B. Device connectivity through the firewall or content inspection of outgoing web traffic. Ooh, both are decently answers. What do you think? I'm gonna give you a second to lock in that answer for yourself. What do you think? All right, if you guessed A and you thought that device connectivity through the firewall, well, that's incorrect. It's incorrect. It's not impacted by content filtering license. Remember, you have to look at this, right? Indicating that the firewall's license feature for content filtering, specifically for content filtering, has expired. That means content inspection of outgoing web traffic would be an issue. Pay attention, little details. Little details. B is going to be a correct answer. Question number 2. Technician notices the following log entries on a managed switch. What does this log output indicate? What does it indicate? I know, it's a tricky one. I know. I'm trying to throw more logs in there, more tools in our questions as we go through, trying to be a little bit more interactive with it so that you kind of get a hands-on approach, right? Mix that theory with those practical approaches as we try to go through this. What do you think? All right, let's move on. Let's move on. I know you can pause the video if I'm going too fast. I'm trying not to do 20-minute videos. All right, a technician notices the following log entries on a managed switch. What does this log output indicate? Well, I feel like let's start with D again. The MAC address filter expired. Well, if we look at the log switch, right, we see port 3 MAC address, violation, and then you see port 3 port security disabled, shutdown. So the MAC address filter expired, disabling port 3? I don't think so. There's nothing indicating that. C, the port is overloaded, causing it to shut down automatically. Again, that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing port security disabled. I don't know where overloaded comes into play. And so no, that's not going to be it. That leaves A or B again. We're down to A or B again. Which one do you think it is? I'll give you a second. Just in case you got it wrong and you guessed C or D. Here's your second opportunity. Second opportunity to get this one going. What do you think? All right, let's move on. A or B. If you guessed A, a new device was connected on port 3, triggering a port security shutdown. I got good news for you. You're right. It is A. It is. Why is it A? Because, well, let's move to B first. The switch detected a duplex mismatch on port 3. No, it detected a port security disabled. So what happens when we see that, right? When we have a new device plug in to an existing port, or maybe a device was unplugged and then a new device is plugged in, and we detect a MAC address violation, meaning the MAC address, a new device is plugged in that doesn't have the same MAC address, Well, that's a port security, and so we disable it, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is why it shut it down. So A is going to be the correct answer on this one. There it is. All right, question number 3. A network engineer notices temperature alerts from a server room. The room's HVAC system has been undergoing maintenance, resulting in fluctuating temperatures. What risk does this pose to network devices in the server room? What risk? What do you think? Here's what gets me. I come from Arizona. We always have 2 HVAC units. Like, there is not a building for enterprise networks that don't have redundancy for HVACs. It's such a big thing over there. And I'm actually surprised that any server room would only have 1 HVAC unit. That one actually surprises me. Maybe I'm just too used to Arizona. Maybe. I don't know. All right. Let's, as always, if you need more time, you can pause the video. A network engineer notices temperature alerts from the server room. The room's HVAC system has been undergoing maintenance, resulting in fluctuating temperatures. What risk does this pose to network devices in the server room? Should we start with D again? Reduce signal strength in wireless devices? I have no idea why reduced signal strength in wireless devices would even be a thing. No. All right, moving on. I mean, no. I can't even think of a good reason. All right, no. All right. C, unauthorized access to the server room. I don't know why unauthorized access would have anything to do with temperatures. Maybe. I don't know. All right, that leaves A or B. If you guessed B, I have some really great news for you. That's correct. Increased likelihood of equipment failure. I felt like this was an easy one. Potential short circuits in the network cables. I don't know why temperature would affect that at all. Not for short circuits. Not for short circuits at all. All right, yeah. So B. B's going to be a correct answer on this one. All right, question number 4. Man, we're cruising right through today. An IT technician troubleshoots slow network speeds and sees the following configuration output for a critical service network adapter. Which of the following actions should the technician take to improve network performance? What do you think on this one? We got a status, 100 megabytes, geez. 100 megabytes per second, and then half duplex speed is our network adapter speed. What do you think? What do you think on this one? Okay. Let's pause the video. Let's move on. Let's answer this one. An IT technician troubleshoots slow network speeds and sees the following configuration output for a critical server's network adapter. Which of the following actions should the technician take to improve network performance? I want to start at A this time. Do we want to start at A? Yeah, let's start at A. Let's increase link speed to 1 gigabyte per second. It's at 100 megabytes per second. So I'm going to go with maybe. Maybe on A. B, change the duplex settings to full. Well, it's at half right now. Changing it to full would mean that we have 2 cents. That really depends on the cables on this one. It's a possible answer. It really is. And it's probably the right answer. Like, if I saw half duplex in my own network, I would probably check on that first before I did anything else. But it could be. There's nothing in the question or in the information that tells us otherwise. So I feel like that could be a push off. Definitely could be a correct answer, but I feel like A is better than B. And so let's get rid of B. Enable port security on the switch. Port security. We're talking about speeds here. So C, no. And then D, configure the adapter to use DHCP. And so another good one. It really comes between A and D. A and D are the 2 likely answers on this one. All right, let's tackle this one. If you guessed A, you're wrong. I know. I probably stumped a couple of you on that one. It's not A. It's actually D. It's D. Why is it D and not A? Well, I'll tell you why. It's this second part right here. This half duplex and kind of combined with this 100 megabytes per second. So here's the problem. We got 2 issues, right? We have 100 megabytes per second, which is really low for a server. And we also have half duplex, which most servers are not operating in half duplex. Like almost none of them are. So we kind of need to change both. How would we do that? Well, if we configure the adapter to use DHCP, it's going to reset the entire thing. And then we can see what it's capable of. Because it's going to renegotiate. It's going to auto-renegotiate. It's going to say, hey, what am I capable of, right? Can I operate at half duplex or can I move up to full duplex, right? And by doing that, we can actually see what's going on by setting up to DHCP very quick. Just go in there and say, yeah, I use DHCP, assigns it an IP address, boom, it upsets, renegotiates the entire setting, and then we can look and see what it's capable of, and then take it back to a static IP address if we want to at that point. I think I was in a class the other day, and I told students I'm not a big fan of dynamic IP addressing inside my network equipment. Servers are included with that one, but there is a usefulness for it when we're troubleshooting things, when we're trying to figure out what's going on. And I got to tell you, this server's not doing anything. 100 megabytes per second, it's pretty much offline anyway. So at that point, it's like, what do you do? I mean, 100 megabytes per second. I want you to think about that. I mean, I have 1.2 at my house, and that's not 1.2 megabytes, 1.2 gigabytes, right? So that is extremely low. And so D's going to be our correct answer on this one. How many did I stump on that one? Let's move on to our last question for the day. A company decides whether to host a new application server on-prem or deploy it in a branch office environment. Which of the following will most likely benefit from an on-prem deployment? What do you think? What's the most likely reason we might want to do on-prem versus a branch office? I know, a little bit weird, right? But it is something you need to know. Usually we go on-prem versus cloud, but in this case we're doing on-prem versus a branch office. Something you need to be aware of, believe it or not. One of those weird questions that I like, because we often study for the things that are upfront and personal. But this one's a little bit weird, because usually, like I said, we're comparing on-prem to cloud. That's not what we're doing here. We're doing on-prem to branch. On-prem to branch. All right. If you need more time, as always, you can pause it. A company decides whether to host a new application server on-prem or deploy it in a branch office environment. Which of the following would most likely benefit from an on-prem deployment? Let's see. Low latency access required by employees on site. That is a benefit. That is definitely a benefit. But it's the best benefit. Is it a great benefit? I don't know. Let's move on. A is a maybe. Increased scalability for remote access. That's not common. That's not common. That's not common at all. And so no. C, reduced hardware maintenance requirements. I like C. I like reduced hardware maintenance. You often, if we have on-prem environment, we've already got all that thing set up. In a branch environment, we have a new office somewhere else. Depending where it is, because it could be in the same city, it could be in the same state, it could be in the same country. It really depends. Reduced hardware maintenance. Yeah, I mean, the maintenance still has to get done, but what about people moving from point A to point B? That's really where something comes into play. So it's really between A and C so far. Easier access for remote employees. Not really. That's more of a cloud thing. That's not an on-branch thing. So it really comes down to A, low latency access required by employees on site, or C, reduced hardware maintenance requirements. What do you think? What do you think on this one? I'm going to give you a couple seconds. All right, let's answer this one. If you guessed C, reduced hardware maintenance requirements, congratulations, you are 100% correct. 100% correct. Why? Well, read the question, right? New application server on-prem or deploy it in a branch office. Which of the following would most likely benefit from an on-prem deployment? Well, typically low latency access required by employees on site really isn't a thing. Typically, that's not a benefit. But reduced hardware maintenance requirements? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because of that problem. We've already got all of our equipment already on-prem anyway. And so moving it off to a branch office would mean transportation costs, it would be lack of IT support, mean a whole lot of things. But C is going to be our correct answer on that one. Did you find this helpful? Do you feel like you're better prepared? I hope so. Until next time, I'm Dr. K. We'll see you.